Full Throttle TV is live tonight from Daytona International Speedway, but tonight it's the NASCAR Road Course. And for the second race of the season for the Full Throttle Darkmatter Designs Cup Series, I'm Jared Carr. Alongside me in the booth tonight is DJ Lyon. DJ, second race of the year. We got a packed house, 46 drivers here tonight. Only 40 of them will make the event. This is a huge high-stakes game already this early in the season.
Absolutely. Good to be here, Jared. High stakes is pretty much an understatement. Talking to some of the guys downstairs tonight. Last week's winner, Brandon Elder, he's not running so hot here tonight. Currently showing 15th in the practice charts, having a lot of trouble getting that car around here. He told me that he doesn't even think he's going to make the show tonight. But we'll see. Hey, I tell you what, Jared, we got a big race, and it is a long track. This is the newly designed Daytona International Speedway Road Course, 3.56 miles long, 11 turns. It can hold 43 pit stalls, but we are only starting 40 here tonight, and it is going to be something to see.
You're exactly right, DJ. And let's take a look at those race stats. So they're doing 200 kilometers, 35 laps here tonight. 77-degree air temp, 86 on the track. The track temp has come down about 6 degrees from when practice opened, so these guys are getting a little bit better racing conditions. Coming into today's race, Brandon Elder was the winner. You'll see him listed in green on the standings table, and as DJ alluded to, he is not locked into the race, if you can believe that. He did not finish inside the top 20 in points last season, so that is where the drivers have to be in order to make the event for the first 3 races. So this last season's points will take effect all the way until Homestead next week, and then this season's points will take over. So it's makes it a little bit more difficult, doesn't it, DJ?
Yeah, absolutely does, especially for those drivers that are new to the series or only ran a limited series last year and weren't locked into the top 20. Currently on the top of the charts is Randy McCanny, followed closely behind by Terry Cooper Jr. They're running laps in the low 154 O's, 154 3s. Then you got guys dropping back to the 155s, 156s. Everybody here pretty much knows what they need to do to set up a race car for the road course. They know the base setup. You get the track bars down. You get a big front bar in it. All that stuff. But they're trying to fine tune it. And a lot of these drivers, this is the first time they've seen this place or even tested on it was today. So it's going to be a heck of a run to see who drops and who comes up through the field.
Yeah, exactly right, DJ. This is the Cup Series. We're going to go to 7 road courses in our schedule this season, just like real life NASCAR. But last season, this group only ran 2 road courses, Sonoma and the Roval. The year before, they ran 3 road courses, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, and the Roval. So a lot of these guys making their debut in road course racing, despite racing for many seasons here at FTSR, just the way the seasons have broken down. Looking at last year's points, the following drivers are locked in: Bernard Persson, Wayne Grossi, Sherwood Williford, Rachel Hunt, Casey McMullen, Ronnie Royal, Chad Lang, Lane Allen, Jason Spear, David Hensley, Tracy Powers, Ralph Nolan Jr., Steve Loomis, Dean Doucette, Brian Helm, Donnie Staubitz, and Randy McCanny, all locked into the event tonight. The other 25 drivers will have to race in on time. We got about 5 minutes left, DJ. If you're one of those drivers that I didn't name, what is your strategy in qualifying? Because there is some qualifying scrutiny, although we don't use the strict scrutiny here. You don't want to put a tire off. A 1X does invalidates your lap. So what do you go for if you're one of those drivers trying to make the field tonight?
Even a 0X invalidates the lap during qualifying, but what they got to do is qualifying here is different than it is at the super speedways and it is at the speedways. You want to try to get as much heat in your tires as you can as early as you can at those other tracks, but here it's completely different. You want to roll around this track. You want to coast around this track on that warm-up lap. You don't want to wear the tires out on your warm-up lap getting up to speed. And then when you finally take that hot lap, you want to go as hard as you can, but remember, don't get an off track, don't hit anything. You got to be super careful. So I think there's going to be a lot of drivers that are going to surprise themselves because some of the fast drivers are going to, hit the wall or touch some grass or anything like that. And then you're going to see some really fast drivers that are going to be starting in the back. Some slow drivers probably going to start farther up front than they, I'm not saying there's people that have some more talent than others on road courses, right? So there's going to be people that are going to be starting in front of people that maybe they don't have as much talent as. So going through this field and being able to know when is the perfect passing opportunity and when is the appropriate passing opportunity is going to be what's going to bring the win home, or the good qualifying run and the whole package, Jared.
Yeah, you're exactly right, DJ. You hit everything right on the nail of the head. This is a track that's designed for sports cars, first and foremost. We do have a lot of throwback schemes for sports car. You saw on the screen Bill Benedict. He's running a Jim Clark Lotus 49 throwback, really cool. Actually, the entire GT Performance team is running throwbacks. Troy Torgerson throwing back to Parnelli Jones. Gary Griffith, Jared Daniels, they're throwing back to John Paul Jones. Anyway, about the track, DJ, I mean, you talked about braking zones. I mean, there's really only a couple spots where you can pass here. I mean, passing into the NASCAR chicane is a little bit difficult. Passing into the bus stop is pretty difficult. Turn 1 is going to be that action spot, and then the International Horseshoe, the first setup there. I think those are going to be the best spots to pass. But DJ, when you're behind somebody that you're slower than, how do you temper that patience?
It's very hard to temper the patience. And, you mentioned those spots for passing, great spots for passing. Another great spot is anywhere on the big track where these cars can get that draft and move around to the outside. These guys have a little bit more power than they would have if they were running strictly on the NASCAR oval. So you're going to see a lot of slingshot passes, a lot of drivers trying to use that threshold braking to outbrake the next driver into the corner. Turn 1, the horseshoe. To be honest with you, any place on this track is a good passing opportunity. It's just a matter of, is it the correct opportunity?
And we're going to find that out tonight. If you guys didn't watch it,
wake up.
If you guys didn't watch it last week, on Wednesday, you'll know that the Truck Series was here, and it was a big race, 38 drivers here on Wednesday night. So we have 45 here tonight, 40 will make it, as we talked about earlier. But we have about 90 seconds left in practice, so we are going to go take a quick commercial break, and we're going to return to set up qualifying and set up the grid for the Daytona 200K. All right, we are back live here at Daytona International Speedway on the road course here tonight, the NASCAR road course here tonight. And we have some drivers already taking some times out. You'll see down there at the bottom. You will see down there at the bottom the qualifying times there. And right now we got Steve Loomis out there, Kevin Sargent, Troy Torgerson, pretty much everybody out there, DJ. And the key is everybody has to set a lap unless you're part of that top 20 that was locked in the field.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's going to be a couple of the top 20 drivers that elect not to take time tonight, but everybody that has to make it, they're out there, they're grinding, they're moving along on this 3.5 mile, I almost called it an oval. We've been at Daytona for too long. It's a road course. But the big thing that needs to happen right now is these drivers need to be smooth, they need to be clean, and they need to make sure they get their lap in, because we only have 10 minutes of qualifying here tonight.
You're exactly right, DJ. And then once that qualifying's over with, the administration will determine who's locked in the race and resort the grid from there. So we have a little bit of time here, but DJ, we go on board one of these drivers here. Looking at Terry Cooper Jr. here, he is starting his out lap here. And maybe if you want to, as soon as he starts this lap here in just a second, let's get a little walkthrough of what a lap around Daytona Road Course is going to look like here as he comes off turn number 3 here on NASCAR Oval, turn 3, I should say, and coming up into that NASCAR chicane.
Yeah, so a great view here from Terry Cooper. He's coming up into the NASCAR chicane. We're going to talk about that on the next lap around. And just waiting for Mr. Cooper here to exit out, and it is full board now. So he's going to go ahead and grab third gear, and then he's going to grab fourth gear up here. And we're starting lap 1. You're going to get that big arc out to the right, so you can make sure that you're going to want to late apex this corner. It's actually 2 apexes in 1. Down almost near the grass, and you're going to use all of the racetrack. Get out there on that rumble strip, shift up through the gears, move over to the left to get that entry into the big right-hander here in the infield. Got to be really careful on the throttle here so you don't spin the tires. I wish you would have used all of the track right there, but still not a bad lap. You can go down off to the right, and this is a quick corner right here, just off the throttle, back on it, and then braking hard here, downshift into second gear. Slow, 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 back on it, real hard. Use all that track, Terry. Third gear out here, clip that corner, and he's going to downshift and go into the tight pin right here, out onto the big track. Now the key is to get up to speed as quick as you can. Don't want to go all the way up to the wall. You want to get down as close as you can here, and you're going to start shifting. And they had a little trouble with the shift there, but if you can get up and down through the gears here, that's going to be what's important. So here he goes into fourth gear. Or no, excuse me, he already is in fourth gear. Oh no, he just shifted to fourth gear. Terry, you're messing me up, man. So you're downshifted heavy here into the bus stop. Second gear, don't get an off track, don't hit the cone. Back on it again. And again, the same thing with NASCAR turns 1 and 2, except this time you're going to get the NASCAR chicane coming up on you real quick. You're going to get all the way up to the wall to get that good entrance. Downshift. And be careful, don't hit these too hard because they could jump the car. Get down there, Terry. Back up on there and nail it. Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and that's a lap around the Daytona International Speedway NASCAR Road Course.
That was beautiful, DJ, and Terry with a good lap. He's going to go top of the board here already on the board. Several other drivers. Jared Daniels second, Richie Coy third, Schultz fourth, and now McCanny goes top, just barely clipping him there. Now they can do 2 laps here, DJ, but from what I've experienced, the engine does not like doing 2 laps. So we'll see if anybody can get a second lap in here. Our winner last week, Brandon Elder, 10th right now, so it looks like he might be comfortably in the field. Contrary to what you were saying earlier, DJ, he didn't seem like he had a good car, but looks like it's good enough here today.
Well, he told me he wasn't going to make the field, but so far he's put in a lap that would lock him in, hopefully, for him. But let's see, he's now lost a couple more spots. And, you say the motor wouldn't like 2 laps here. I tell you what else wouldn't like 2 laps. The tires, big time tire wear here. And we know that these drivers can go about 21 laps on fuel. So they're going to be, either pitting lap 14 on. And usually you would think if you're into road racing or someone that's a road racer, that the earlier you pit, the better, because you can get in, you can get out by yourself. You don't have to worry about cars around you, and you can run your line, whether it's fast, slow, consistent, however you want to do it. But so far here tonight, I don't know. I haven't heard when anybody's going. They wouldn't tell me. So we're going to see what it looks like.
We'll find out the strategy, but DJ, you're exactly right. So it is 35 laps. They can split this thing up. Estimated to go at the most 22 laps on fuel, but a lot of drivers do like to split up the races. Some guys will do that short pit like you were talking about. It's going to be interesting to see. We still got a few more drivers here doing their laps here. And I got to say, DJ, I mean, if you're one of these guys that hasn't turned a lap yet, you look back through here, Trying to get a look here. Jason Martin not locked in. Rob Shoemaker not locked in. These guys getting on the track right now, and it's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking as that time kicks down, wouldn't you think?
Oh, absolutely. They've been practicing all day. They've tuned and adjusted on their setups, do some testing throughout the week. It's nitty gritty time right now. They need to make sure that the throttle's down and they can get it around here with only about 3.5 minutes left. You still see a couple of drivers on the track trying to get that better lap in. I think one lap here, the first lap they do is going to be the best. So if they did screw up on that first lap, they can reset it and try again. You can't do it unlimitedly, but you can come back to the pits and go out and try that again. So we'll see.
I saw Rob Shoemaker, one of the drivers that's not locked in the race. He spun it out coming out of NASCAR chicane. So we'll have to see if he's able to get back out and did a lap. And right now it does not look like he is. Wayne Grossi going through the NASCAR chicane right now. He is locked in. He finished second in points in 2020. So he gets a little bit loose. And DJ, you were talking about on Terry's lap there. This car does not like to be, I'm trying to think of the best word, abused. You got to be really gentle with the throttle on this car.
Oh, absolutely. You have so much power and so much torque on this road course package for NASCAR that anytime you want to put the throttle down, the rear end wants to break loose, and you adjust that with dynamically in the chassis with some cross weight. Or some track bar. You got the spring set just right to help offset that and give you the best drive that you can off of the corner. But sometimes it just isn't enough. I mean, I just watched Brian Helm out there who just came through the bus stop and spun it out coming off of the corner. A couple of these drivers are having a really difficult time tonight, and I hate to say it, but some of these drivers that'll miss the race, I don't think that's going to be a huge problem for them. They're probably like, all right, I'm going to go to the Taco Bell across the street. We're going to have a burrito and we're going to watch the race, and that's going to be more fun than I'd be having tonight.
And you might be right. I mean, and like we said, this is a 38 race season, so missing one race is not going to be a deterrent to your season. I mean, you have to finish inside the top 20 in the points. You have to make 20 races out of the first 26. The top 16 lock in the playoffs, I should say. But if you don't have a win, if you have a win outside that top 16, you have to be in the top 25 in points, make 20 races. So you can miss a few races here and still be okay. And you see some guys struggling out there. Kevin Sargent going off. Bobby Terrell is getting his lap going. And Bobby has won 2 road course races, but they've been in the Xfinity Series, both at Road America. And now he's in the Cup car doing a full-time schedule from what I'm told. So first season, he's going to put down a full attempt to run a full schedule. So it'll be interesting to see what the 4-time Xfinity champion can do out here today as he goes through the bus stop.
Yeah, I don't know because he's only got about a minute left in qualifying. So I'm not sure if this lap is going to count or not, but it's going to be tough for Bobby if he wants to make it into the show tonight. He has 43 seconds left in qualifying. I don't think he's going to make it.
Looks like he's coming off. This is his lap, so he will make it to the line to complete a lap. So we are good there. There are some.
Let's see what he turns, man. That's crazy.
It's gonna be over 155. It looks like. Bobby Terrell will jump in to 7th place, so that will lock Bobby Terrell in the race. So right now, David Hensley, who is locked in on points, has not taken a lap. Tracy Powers, who is locked in on points, has not taken a lap. Brian Helm, who is locked in on points, has not taken a lap. Same with Jason Spear. So that likely means that Brad Patterson, Kevin Sargent, out of the 2 drivers that have not taken laps, are likely going to be out. Also, Jason Martin looking to be on the way out. James Torrey possibly on the way out. John Held possibly on the way out. But we will have that confirmation here in just a few minutes. While they're setting this thing up, we're going to take a quick commercial break and do our national anthem, and then we'll be back to cover the race here at Daytona International Speedway. right, we are back live here at Daytona. They've gotten the drivers out gridded, ready to go. Let's go through the starting lineup. Randy McKinney, Lane Allen on the front row. They're doing a short lap, so we'll go through as many as we can. Terry Cooper, Jeff Chandler, Donnie Staubitz, Jared Daniels in row number 3. Bobby Terrell, Richie Coy, row number 4. Matt Geringer and Gary Griffith in row number 5, DJ.
Schultz and Doucette in row 6, Elder and Rupert in row 7, Troy Torgerson and Chad Lang in row 8, Brody Hanna and Chris Beck in row 9, Andrew Palicki and Rory Collins round out row 10.
Looking back at row number 11, we have Mr. Jeff Winter and Bill Benedict. Row 12, Brian Bliss, Stephen Vrooman. Row 13, Jeff Bratton, Bernard Persson. Row 14, Dale Nearad and Ronnie Royal. Row 15, Tony Soler and Ralph Nolan. Row 16, Gach, Held, Grossi, Loomis, Hunt, David Hensley back there at 36th. Then we have Tracy Powers, Brian Helm, Jason Spear, and Case McMullen rounding out your field as we're about ready to go to green flag racing here at Daytona International Speedway. Green flag is out, and Randy McKinney and Lane Allen will lead them in to turn number 1, DJ.
Climbing up through those gears just to go back down through them again. This is the first turn under speed for all these drivers here in the big pack. We're going to see how they make it through. Still side by side for the lead. McKinney is trying to hold off the charge from the number 14 of Lane Allen, and he does get that spot. Randy McKinney is going to take the lead.
Very dicey through there. So far, so good. It looks like I don't see anybody off track toward the back there. We did have 5 drivers not make the event here. Those guys were Kevin Sargent, James Torrey, Brad Patterson, and missing one more guy, but we'll get that in there later. Randy McKinney leading right now. Looking back through the middle of the pack, Kevin Rupert back there in 12th place, Chad Lang in 13th place. Everybody doing a good job, DJ. I'm still not seeing anybody that's gotten off track yet.
Yeah, there was the 4th place driver of Donnie Staubitz got off track just a little bit as they headed for the interloop there in turns number 3, but he was able to get back on the track and ready to go. I think all these drivers are just trying to get split apart the best they can. The really only side-by-side action is further back in the pack. That is between Brandon Elder and Andrew Palicki as they head for the bus stop on the backstretch.
You look at Palicki and Andrew Palicki and Brandon Elder there. Elder, last week's winner at the Oval. And Elder is a known road course racer. I mean, he has won he won a GT3 race here back in the spring on the Daytona Road Course. So he can definitely get around there. He's getting a little bit of help, or a little bit of battling with Troy Torgerson there in the 98. That car, a throwback to not PJ Jones, but Parnelli Jones and his Trans Am days, and Elder's going to let him go. Discretion, the better part of valor early in this run. Randy McKinney will lead the first lap here at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. These drivers being really good right now. No issues to talk about just yet. The battle for the lead is still within a couple tenths of a second, but second place is now heating up between the drivers of Terry Cooper Jr. and Lane Allen. Allen now down to the inside with a defensive line. And Cooper is going to get that wide arc to try to lay apex corner, get underneath him. Not enough just yet. We got Radius Racing and Blackwater right there running second and third.
Yeah, those guys both on the technically different teams, but they're part of the same organization, Steve Berry Racing, Blackwater Motorsports. So they'll give each other a little bit of room there, but Randy McKinney is starting to scoot out to a little bit of a lead here. Jared Daniels in the 21 up 2 spots. So the 21 doing a really good job in there right now, and Donnie Staubitz in 5th. Our big gainer of the race right now, as we look through, is Case McMullen back in 26. He's up 15 spots from his 14 spots, 40th on the grid, and he is 26th right now working on the 95 Ralph Nolan Jr.
Yeah, watch out for him coming up through the field, and it's going to be hard. I don't think that there's anybody really at the start of this race that has anything for Randy McKinney. But we'll see. I've been proven wrong before, and we don't want to put the broadcaster curse on him just yet. We'll wait until at least halfway for that. Right, Jared?
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to curse anybody just yet, but we want to have some fun with it. On board Richie Coy, he's working on 99 Donnie Staubitz, 2 modified racers. These guys raced together in real life in the Northeast modified circles that I learned last week, DJ. And those guys battling on the track right now, 5th and 6th coming into NASCAR chicane.
Yeah, well, you were talking right there, the number 91 of Kenneth Schultz went into the bus stop on the back straightaway, lost it going in, slammed into the inside tire barrier, got it spun back around, and he is now back onto the racetrack, although running pretty much P last at the moment.
Kenneth Schultz, we see him right there. A little bit of damage maybe on that machine, but looks okay. Looks like maybe somebody might have gotten into him. We'll try to get a replay on that. But he is 39th, only one driver doing behind him, and that is David Hensley right now, who does have a little damage himself. Back up front toward the middle here, Bobby Terrell battling there. Richie Coy just in front of him. On board Bobby Terrell coming out of the first International Horseshoe. Dean Doucette, two-time champion last year, right behind him there. He's up 4 spots from his starting spot.
Yeah, I like Dean. He's a pretty good ringer, and we'll see what he can do. His last lap was a 156.6. If you want to compare that to the leaders, he was running a 154.7. Although Dean is in traffic right now, a lot of the other drivers in the field who are pretty much stuck together, they're all running 156. So right now, this is pretty much Randy McCanny trying to get out to the biggest lead that he possibly can.
Exactly right, DJ. And you look on board, Dean Doucette, as he's working his way through the oval section here. Looking a little bit further back, we got Matt Geringer doing a good job on his machine there today. Up or down 1 position, but he's hanging in the top 10. DJ, so now the race, you got a couple laps, that anxiety of making the race, the anxiety of driving on the track, that's all kind of dying down. When do you start settling in and start finding your rhythm and start racing the track? Because we know at road courses, you've got to race the track more than you have to race the drivers around you.
Now, there's really 3 different types of racers. There's the racer that is nervous as all get out before the race, and as soon as that green flag drops, they're fine. There is the racer that's not nervous at all going into the race, and about halfway through, he starts getting nervous. And then there's the 3rd type of racer who's just nervous all the damn time, but he won't tell anybody that he's nervous. But in his brain, he is calculating every little thing. Anybody that says that they're 100% relaxed every time from pit road pre-race to the race, they're lying to you. They got stuff going on in their head. They're calculating these fuel mileage events. A lot of these drivers don't have crew chiefs here tonight. You got a couple of drivers that have someone on the box. A lot of them don't. So they're like, do I pit at lap 14? How much do the tires fall off? They've fallen off about 5 seconds now, maybe 4 seconds. What about if I double pit? What about some of these drivers, they pit at lap 13 and at lap 26? Would the new tires bring them back up towards the front? I would be someone that would try that. Is anybody else in here going to do it? Because the tires are going to fall off huge. Do we split it up into 2 pit stops?
Yeah, and I think that's something that I don't know if any team's really talking about, DJ, but you bring up a good point. If the fall off is that bad, maybe you want to take an opportunity to take 2 pit stops. And DJ, I think Jeff Winter has gone around here. He is back on track. Tried to get a replay, but we did get a notification he did crash. But he looks okay right now from what I can tell.
Yeah, probably just slid off of the track. These cars are all in different parts of the track right now, so it's hard to keep focus on just one area. But it looks like he just spun off of the track. No real contact with anybody just yet. And everyone's really spaced out. The only 2 quote-unquote incidents that we've had have just been drivers that have pretty much self-spun, whether going into the corner too hard or coming out of the corner too hard.
So we go look real quick. Jeff Chandler has dropped from 4th place down to 33rd, so he has gotten off track. But you look at the track map, and you'll see, number 1, this is by position. So Randy McCanny coming up to the start-finish line right now. 39th place, which is Kenneth Schultz. No, sorry, yeah, Stephen Loomis. He is just now exiting the International Horseshoe. So that shows you just how much of this track is covered by cars, and the gap is up to 6 seconds for Randy McCanny right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Battling on the track back here. Palicki is going to go around Troy Torgensen. That's a battle for the 14th spot. Give that to Andrew Palicki. So drivers really starting to make moves right now. We're going to see if anybody decides to split it up into 2 spots. I wanted to check on Dean. He's still in the same spot. He has gained a lot of time on Bobby Terrell and Terry Cooper Jr., though. So keeping our eye on Dean Doucette as he works his way up through the field. But right now, it's all... I told you, Randy McCanny, he's going to get out to the biggest lead that he can right now, up over 6 seconds.
Got some incident here. Ralph Nolan Jr., Gil Gock got together. See if we can get a replay there. Those guys got together in turn number 1. Let's see if we can see what happened here real quick. So McCanny coming across the start-finish line. Gilgock is behind him here. And let's see what's going on here. Nolan slides it, spins it, and Gilgock does the exact same thing, slides and spins into him. And looks like Steven Vrooman nearly got in there as well. So no real damage there, but I'm sure we're going to see that a lot here tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Drivers getting caught up in some other drivers' mishaps. It's the story of racing. Right now, the battle closest on the track right now is Donnie Staubitz in that number 99. He's in 4th place. He's chasing down Gerard Daniels in the number 21, who's in 3rd. You can see how that giraffe plays an effect. He's going to climb up on him real quick here and then slow down to break into the NASCAR chicane. But be very careful not to hit those turtles, man. I'm telling you, the some of the corners have those turtles. You don't want to hit those, and if you do hit them, you want to hit them square on and for a power move. But drivers being real careful going through there right now.
And you can see on board Jared Daniels there. Donnie Staubitz all over the mirror. Daniels is all over the back of Lane Allen right now. So these guys battling really hard here, and you can see the gap. It's been pretty. It was 0.5 of a second between Staubitz and Jared Daniels, and now it's down to 0.1. So Donnie Staubitz coming forward here, and we look at our last laps here, DJ, and last time by, our fastest driver is our race leader, Randy McCanny.
Yeah, McCanny's now up to about 7.5 seconds over the field, and I'm telling you, if these drivers, if they would just pit twice, if they would do 13 and 26, I believe they could have enough tire to gain a bunch of spots. I don't know if they can catch McCanny, but let's use Brody Hanna, for example. Currently running in the 11th spot. He's about 16 seconds off of the pace of Randy McCanny. If he were to take it out about 7 more laps, McCanny has already fallen off now about, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. So I believe he could do it. We're hoping someone does it because I want to see if it works. I'm pretty sure it would. So we're excited to see what pit strategy looks like.
Yeah, you're exactly right, DJ, and it is going to be something that, road courses do throw out those strategies a little bit differently because, like you said, there's a time loss value there. Not to mention the other thing, too, we don't have cautions on road courses. So that also plays into it. You don't have a reset button to let you get your breath or let you get like a pit stop under certain conditions. So these guys are going to be full bore the entire time, but Brody Hanna running in 11th spot right now. Dean Doucette, DJ, as you were talking, went off track coming out of the second international horseshoe there. He has dropped from 8th down to 11th place, and he looked like he just used a little bit too much throttle coming out of that horseshoe.
The broadcaster curse hits again. We talk about Dean Doucette. He goes off track. Well, he's now back on track. He only lost a couple of positions, as Jared alluded to, but we're going to keep an eye on him. I bet you he's going to come back up through the field. So far tonight, a clean and, like you said, it's going to be a green race because of only the local cautions here at the road course. But really proud of these drivers for being cautious, but still not being afraid to race. It's turned out to be pretty exciting here tonight, if you ignore the fact that now Randy McCanny is now over 9 seconds ahead of everybody.
Yeah, and there's a big battle raging right now. Finally, Jared Daniels getting around Lane Allen. He takes Donnie Staubitz with him. Richie Coy also in that battle. Terry Cooper has dropped to 6th place. So these guys, right now, that's where we got that gaggle going on, DJ. One of our words that we use a lot here on the broadcast, gaggle. It's starting from 2nd place all the way back to 6th place right now. 5 drivers in that group.
Yeah, you basically throw a blanket over 2nd through 5th place right now. We're going to keep our eye on Richie Coy. He's going to have a real hot and bothered Terry Cooper Jr. coming behind him as they work their way down the back straightaway. But it looks like that Richie's car is just a little bit better than Terry Cooper Jr.'s on the big track. And it looks like Terry can catch up to him when they start doing some left and right road course stuff. But on the big track, Coy is starting to pull away just a little bit. Lane Allen pulling away from him. And, right in front of him, almost contact with the 21 of Jared Daniels, who was running in the 2nd spot, got loose out of the bus stop and almost collected your top 5.
Yeah, we saw that right on our screen there, DJ, and Donnie Staubitz got around, and I think there might have been a little contact with Lane Allen. Now, there's nothing major there by any means. As you see, there are static camera at the start-finish line. McCanny has already gone by. here's how long it takes Donnie Staubitz to go by. It is 10-second gap right now, and it's 3 wide behind him for second place, for third place.
Yeah, all these drivers tried to make their way back up through the field. They worked their way around Jared Daniels after Jared had that issue going off of the track and a little bit loose. He's back under power again. Lane Allen now losing that spot to Terry Cooper Jr. in the infield, in the road course place. Like I said, Cooper is really good at those right and left-hand turns, but it looks like the 14 is a little better on the aerodynamic package. Donnie Staubitz pretty far ahead of them. About 2.5 seconds, and we just won't talk about Randy McKinney in his own zip code rather. Right now, current drivers showing a lap down: Chris Beck, Tracy Powers, David Hensley showing 5 laps down. Mr. Stephen Loomis and Wayne Grassi are about ready to go 1 lap down with McKinney's huge lead that he has here tonight.
And DJ, if you could let the viewers know what happened to Tracy Powers in the 45. We see that he is in pits getting damage repaired, but we did not see if he got into somebody or if he just had an incident by himself on lap number 6 there.
Yeah, it looks like that Tracy just lost it by himself and had a little bit of contact. I do see some black smoke coming out of that hood, so it might be a long rest of the day for Tracy as he now does bring it back behind the wall, and he is done for the day.
So tough break for Tracy Powers. Tough start the season, 31st at Daytona, and looking to finish probably 39th or 40th here tonight if he does not get that 45 repaired and back out there. Right now we look through the rest of this pack. Brian Helm, one of our quick movers, DJ. He's up to 22nd, started 38th. He was locked in the race. And somebody locks up in front of him. That's Chris Beck. So Chris Beck goes through the bus stop. He was a lap down and heavy damage to that machine. But Chris Beck struggling with that machine right now. But Brian Helm up 16 spots into 22nd.
Yeah, Chris Beck already damaged from a previous incident a few laps ago. Almost took out that green car. And that would have been not good. He already did not have a front end, and he is back now underway in NASCAR turns 3 and 4, but severely off of the pace and also being shown in position 38.
A tough break for Chris Beck here tonight. Heavy damage on that Flying Tigers racing machine as he just looking to survive, I think, is what Chris was saying after when I was talking to him earlier this week. And you look at the rest of these guys, DJ, Dale Nearad up 10 positions. So we got some movers and shakers already in this race. But you look at our race lead, DJ, and Randy McKinney has opened up that gap. It has come to 10, almost 11 seconds now over Staubitz.
Yeah, that is correct. And Staubitz has opened up his second place command over Cooper and Allen. Behind them, Coy still within about a second. Then you have about a 1.5 second gap back to Daniels and Terrell. And then another pack of 3 drivers, Gary Griffith, Kevin Ruford, and Brody Hanna, about 20 seconds back. And then it just goes on back from there. Brody, when we were talking about him earlier, started 17th. He's now in 10th. He's going to have a good car here tonight. How about Dale Nearad in the 03? Started 27th up to 17th, but currently the biggest mover that I see, Casey McMullen, started 41st up to 19th.
Yeah, Casey McMullen, shotgun on the field, and locked in the race, finished 5th in the top 5 in points last year, elected not to take a qualifying lap, started last on the field, up to 19th. He's working on Bernard Persson right now. That is a battle for 18th. So the 71, Casey McMullen, doing a good job here. And Casey he loves road courses, but I think that he would be the first to say that, he's out there just to try to survive and, get around the track. And I think that's going to pay off for him. Just staying on the track gets you a lot. And we might have an incident. Chad Lang and Wayne Grassi in the NASCAR chicane might have came together.
Yeah, it looks like they came together just a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as some of these other drivers that have had some incidents here tonight. They're both back underway and moving along nicely. Working currently on lap number 10, so the pit window, if you're going to do a 2-stop event, is going to open here within the next 2 to 3 laps. The pit window, if you want to do a 1-stop and short it, is going to open in about 4 to 5 laps. So we're going to see what these drivers decide to do. Either way, pitting right now wouldn't really benefit them either way. So let's see what these drivers decide to do.
Yeah, you're exactly right, DJ. We do have a couple drivers on pit road. Chris Beck is the only one right now, actually, but he is a couple laps down right now. Battle right now is third place, Lane Allen, and fourth place, Lane Allen, Richie Coy, Jared Daniels in that group. And Lane Allen doing everything he can to hold off Richie Coy coming on out of NASCAR Turn 2.
Yeah, Coyne's going to look down to the inside. Allen's going to give it to him, try to bring it in behind. No. Misjudged that just a little bit, so that's going to slow up the 14 of Allen. Not going to be able to stick with the 19 of Coy as they work their way through turns 3 and 4 and get ready to head down to the NASCAR chicane here in turn 4. That it was put in, mind you, Jared, because when they ran testing here, I believe they were going just a little too quick.
Yeah, I think that these cars, I know in the iRacing series, can get 205 on the regular Daytona Road Course, maybe 210. And so real life NASCAR was like, no, we're not going to do that. And I believe that they reached out to iRacing to help develop a chicane there, but I could be wrong about that, just, what I've heard. But it is a interesting chicane for sure with those turtles, DJ.
Oh, yeah, you definitely don't want to hit the turtles, and you're feeling good. You're getting that draft, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, poof, you got to get that NASCAR chicane. You got to hit the brakes. You got to downshift. You can definitely tell the drivers that have some road course experience are being able to shift a little bit better. They're not having to use auto clutch, auto blip, so they're able to go through the gears a little bit quicker. And you can tell that some of the drivers that need a little more help with their shifting are a little bit slower here tonight, but still, everyone's running a really decent race. It looks like the sun just went away for a little bit there on the front stretch, and we're going to start to see some track changes going on here. As it looks like the track, since the start of the race, looks like has fallen a couple degrees.
Yeah, let's take a look at that weather, DJ, as we talk about that. Winds coming out of the southwest now, 10 miles an hour, so that's significantly quicker than it was, but the track temp down to 82, so very high grip conditions. As you see, we're approaching 5 o'clock in game time. So, yeah, the sun's starting to set here at Daytona. The race should not go to dark, but we did have the truck race at night earlier this week. So, I don't know. It could get to sunset, but it's going to be close. As right now we look at 8th place, Gary Griffith doing a nice job in that 12 machine, running in 8th spot. This would be one of his best ever Cup runs, if you could believe that. He finished 5th at Kansas last season and running 8th here tonight at the Daytona Road Course.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about him too much. I want to put that broadcaster curse on him, but he does have a mirrorful of the number 1 car of Kevin Rupert as they head for the NASCAR chicane out of turn 4. You do see some of the long shadows starting to set here tonight, and as Jared alluded to, probably not going to go into the darkness here, but you're going to see the shadows cast longer and longer, and the sun become an issue on certain parts of the racetrack as Kevin Rupert now falling back just a little bit from Gary Griffith as Gary's now coming down to complete lap number 12. So next time by, the pit window opens up for the 2 stoppers, and 2 laps it's going to open up for the 1 stoppers if they want to short it. So we're going to keep an eye out to see what anybody does, what the plans are. If I'm the leader right now, I'm so far ahead, and I say that, and it looks like that Randy McKinney had a slight issue because he is now only 9 seconds ahead of Donnie Staubitz. It has come down just a tick. So we're going to keep an eye on that as we move through the field. And it looks like that Randy might have used up some of the good on his tires, but he's still got a very healthy lead. I believe Randy McKinney is going to be on 1 stop here tonight. Yeah,
and DJ, you look through this field. I mean, my guess is Casey Mullen, Brian Helm, those guys who have moved up through the field quite a lot. If I was them, I would probably be the guys thinking about that 2-stop strategy. They clearly have the speed in the vehicle to make up some time, and then that could get them out of some of that traffic. What do you think about that?
Well, on a normal situation, I would say yes, that would get you out of some traffic. But everybody right now, since we have high road course skill all the way down to low road course skill in this race tonight, a lot of the drivers are spread out all over the track. So pretty much wherever you go, you're going to see lap traffic. You're going to be involved in someone else's wake on the track. So we'll see what happens. Haven't seen anybody take the pit road just yet. But pretty much, I think a lot of these drivers are going to do exactly what Randy McKinney does whenever he decides to bring it down pit road.
Yeah, you're good point there, DJ. And let's take a look as we get here to these opening pit stops here, possibly. Take a look through the field real quick here, starting with the 10th place driver, Brody Hanna. He has moved his way up to 7th place here, or up 7 places. into top 10. Brody has won a road course race in the past. It's been about 3 years. He's working on Kevin Rupert and Gary Griffith, the guys we just talked about. Oh, and he gets loose out of the NASCAR turn and loses some time there, DJ.
Yeah, that was a really good save coming out of the NASCAR turn, and he got it back underway, going again, moving up to the 9th spot as we continue our way through the field. Looking at the number 1 of Kevin Rupert, driving that Kellogg's Pop-Tarts number 1. Really reminds me of the old Hendrick race car back in the day. He started 14th. He is up to 9th, and he has a sight set on the 8th place car.
You're exactly right, DJ. We're actually going to go back through the rest of toward the back of the pack here. We already talked kind of about the top 10 here. Looking back at 11th place, Andrew Palicki, up 8 spots. DJ, you talked about him a little bit earlier in the race. Having a solid run, first year rookie here in FTSR, and having a really good run for Raging Moose in 11th place right now as we look back at Matt Geringer in 12th.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, Matt's paint job on his car, I know a couple of really good painters in the sim racing community that probably are not liking that too much, just because it's so off of what you would normally see for that Texaco Haviland paint scheme. But nonetheless, paint scheme be damned, Matthew Geringer is up to, well, he has fallen back a little bit from 9th place to the 12th place, still only down 3 spots, still running really solid as we head back to Troy Torgerson.
And Troy Torgerson up 3 spots, DJ, in that 98, the throwback machine for Parnelli Jones there, having a good run. Troy, said he's not a road course aficionado, but having a solid run, and he was really quick in practice as well, and doing a nice job, DJ. And then looking back, Dean Doucette, who was in the top 10, he's dropped back to 13th.
Yeah, we were talking about Dean earlier as he was making his way up. He got up to as far as the 7th spot before he went off track, got a little loose, and almost collected some of the other drivers. He now finds his way back to the 14th spot, and that paint scheme, that does look pretty slick. So that's Dean Doucette driving for Steve Berry Racing, and behind him, he's got a mirror full of Brandon Elder.
Real quick, DJ, we're going to interrupt our Through the Field. We had an incident with Lane Allen, so we're watching through the International Horseshoe. This is the second part of the International Horseshoe, coming back up into Turn 5, where you go back up onto the track. And Lane Allen locks up the brakes, slides into the tire barriers, and gets stuck in the tire barriers. So Lane Allen has jumped to the pits, and that's going to put him 37th. He was running 6th at the time, DJ. Tough break for Lane Allen.
Oh, yeah, and that was a hard hit. He got stuck in the tire barrier. He could not get out. Forward, reverse, sideways, down, up. Nothing worked. Nothing worked for Lane Allen. He had to call a tow truck. He's back in the pits. That's going to be a long tow. Plus, to get some damage fixed, he is going to go multiple laps down here tonight.
Tough break for Lane Allen, running consistently in the top 10 tonight. And we go on board Brandon Elder, last week's winner, surprise winner, a very popular win here at FTSR. Brandon does a lot of behind-the-scenes work for Full Throttle Sim Racing, and was one of the founding members of the league. And running 14th, and DJ, we talked about him, we bring this up again, but he said he didn't have much of a car tonight, but I think he'll be happy with running inside the top 15.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if Brandon's wife April is watching here tonight, she's got to be ecstatic with her man running up there in the top 15. I got to meet Brandon. Well, I've met Brandon a bunch, but I got to meet April a couple times, and she is one of the sweetest ladies you'll ever meet, and she can make a mean white lasagna. I have never had a lasagna without spaghetti sauce in it. Let me tell you what, if you ever make it down to South Carolina, swing by and get April's white lasagna. But moving back through the field even more behind Brandon, about 8 seconds back, we're going to look at Chad Long. Chad gridded in the 16th spot. He is currently running 15th. That car, an absolute throwback beast right there, the number 41. Running a solid race for Flying Tigers Racing. Representing Canada. I tell you what, we love our Canadian friends, and Chad running really good. Behind him, closing in, is Dale Nearad.
Dale Nearad, he's one of the drivers we've talked about tonight, DJ. moving up 11 spots, one of our big gainers. He's on 16th spot, having a good solid run. Those guys over at Spear Motorsports will claim that they aren't the biggest road course fans, but they are doing pretty well right now in 14th or 16th and 17th position. Dale Nerad and his teammate associated team, Bernard Person there. So Dale doing a good job in his first road course event at Full Throttle TV. And right behind him, last year's champion, DJ, Bernard Person.
Yeah, Bernard Person, he's been on the march. Both Bernard and Dale have been on the march. Dale started 27th, is up to 16th, and Bernard Person started 26th, and he's up to 17th, running very consistent laps with what he practiced. Not the fastest, but consistent, and that has allowed him to slowly work his way up through the field, driving for Spear Motorsports. That number 8, Rowdy Energy car looks absolutely amazing here tonight, but behind him, tonight's biggest mover so far, Casey McMullen.
Yeah, Casey McMullen up 23 spots for Steve Berry Racing. He has had a solid, methodical run. Hold on real quick. Dean Doucette has gone off the track again. He's off the track in the bus stop, driving through the apron of the oval and still sliding, and gets it retained. And Dean Doucette is still sliding up the oval track. DJ, I think those tires might be shot on the 29.
I believe they are. Every single one of them is completely ruined right now. But hey, some pit stops happening. We're going to watch the number 1 of Kevin Rupert come down to pit road. Perfect entry into the box. He has some damage on the rear. It's going to look to see if he's going to take any damage repair or if he's just going to get tires and fuel. Haven't heard anything over the radio about any type of changes on that. Just 4 tires, fuel, give me a tear off, and he is down and away. He did elect to get a little bit of damage fixed. That rear spoiler looking a little bit better as he heads back out on the track. So
Kevin Rupert going to be part of the early stoppers. Did a 14.9 there on the number 1 machine. To finish up our top 20 rundown here, Kevin Rupert's going to come out in 19th, but Brian Helm, now 18th place, DJ. He's also one of our fast movers, up 20 positions. And the last driver in our top 20 is Steven Vrooman, who is up 5 positions, DJ.
Yeah, so let me tell you about Steven Vrooman. That last name is got to be the most epic name I have ever heard. So if there's any Steve Vrooman fans or family out there watching here tonight, congratulations on having the coolest name pretty much in the entire universe, Vrooman. I absolutely love it. He's out there driving. You look at that car and you just think, man, the numbers are too small. You can't even see it, but it works perfectly with all the logos and everything he has on there. Steven Vrooman driving for Buzz Off Racing. Such an epic name for that, too. I think I'm a Steve Vrooman fan here tonight.
There you go, Steve Vrooman. You got yourself you're another member of your fan club. Good guy. Runs his own. What's the word I'm looking for? Not apothecary, but honey. He makes honey.
Yeah.
Apiary.
There you go. Oh, our science teachers would not be happy with us if they were listening into this.
It's one of those things.
It is. So, the bees are important, and if they weren't here, I tell you what, we wouldn't have anything. So save the bees, don't kill the bees, and honey's great. You put honey on anything.
So there you go, Steven Vrooman, an apiary guy. So, and we look through the rest of this field, some big names back here. Ronnie Royal, 22nd, up 6 spots in that number 24 machine. Last year's, or 2 seasons ago, finished second in points to Dean Doucette. Having a solid run, but probably wanting a little bit more there. And we see, looks like Gary Griffith and Steven Vrooman in the pits right now, DJ.
Yep, making it that one-stop race. They can go the rest of the way from here. So they're going to be able to gain a little bit on people that they have pitted before, because for about 3 to 4 laps, the tires have an extreme amount of grip, and then they start to fall off, but they fall off equally to everybody else. So short pitting is going to come into play here tonight. Some of these drivers that are waiting to pit because there's no cautions, they have to make sure that they give themselves enough time to come back up through the field with the new tires. So it's a game of chess, how early you pit versus how late you pit.
Yeah, exactly right. And while you were saying that, Roy Collins went off track. 62 does look okay. And then we look at some of these other guys back here. Rachel Hunt, who won 2 races last season, not having a good night on the road course, only up 5 spots from her 35th starting position. running back there in 30th. And Jason Spear, who finished 10th in points last year, up 7 spots into 33rd. But both those guys kind of struggling. Lane Allen has returned to the track. Got that damage fixed, but he is shown in 35th position, 1 lap down.
Absolutely. And still the leaders, McCanny and Staubitz, Cooper, Daniels, Coy, they all haven't pitted yet. And the
Cooper's
fun
in.
thing the Cooper is in right now, but the fun thing to notice is that once that gap reached about 9.5 seconds between first and second, it hasn't gained and it hasn't shrunk. So I think Donnie is now comfortable in his car, and I believe that Randy probably burned those tires up a little too much running real hard at the beginning of the race. But is it enough for Staubitz to get up there? We'll see.
9 seconds is a lot. Terry Cooper, Troy Torgerson, Andrew Palicki all in. Those guys show at the bottom there. You can follow along with your favorite driver as they come in and out of the pits. Cooper down away with a 14.6. Palicki with a 14.4. Torgerson just now getting into his stall to get service done. And we look at the gap. It's kind of been steady, DJ. I mean, it got, like you said, got to 9 seconds. Hasn't really changed a whole lot between those first and second drivers. Third place is Jared Daniels, and Richie Coy's right behind him, with Bobby Terrell sneaking his way to the top 5. But right behind those two guys, and yes, there has been some pit stops, Brody Hanna making up some time. And DJ, with those guys pitting, now's an opportunity for those drivers that pitted in front of you to make some time up on those guys. But you got to be worried about that undercut coming back to haunt you later in the race, like you alluded to.
Yeah, I think if these drivers stay out for much more longer, if they stay out past lap 20, the undercut is going to come back to bite them. And they absolutely need to hit pit road within the next 2 laps. So we're going to keep an eye on Randy, McCanny, Staubitz, Brody Hanna, see what these drivers decide to do. The first driver we called into the pits was the number 1 of Kevin Rupert, and so far he is back up to the 17th spot.
Looks like he's actually working on Bernard Person now as we go on board Kevin Rupert, and that would be a battle for 15th. So Kevin Rupert making some quick time up through the field, DJ. And, he was running in the top 10, so he was 9th place at the time he came into the pits, or 10th place, somewhere around that range. And we see that Jared Daniels and Bobby Terrell have hit the pit road. So we're going to keep a big eye on him. And also Gary Griffith in front of him also pitted on 1 lap later. He's in 12th place, so we'll have to watch those drivers to see what they can do moving through the field. Several drivers in. Gehringer and Elder also join in. Terrell and Daniels, DJ, sorry.
Hey, you're good, man. We're having pit stops galore right now. Like I said, within the next 1 or 2 laps, they would need to hit pit road. And going to be watching Brandon Elder, last week's winner, as he comes down, gives up the 8th place position. Really good stop. Nope, he was too far back and a little bit too far to the right, so that's going to cut about 2 seconds into Brandon Elder's time right there. They go around to the right. He's been complaining about that he's a little twitchy under throttle, can't get that throttle down. They're going to lower the rear tire pressures both by 0.5 pound, and Brandon Elder is now down and away.
So Brandon Elder, good, decent stop. I mean, he did recover it, but 17 seconds, that's going to cost him a little bit of time on the track. And it looks like now we got some more drivers. Chad Lang, Dale Nearad, Bill Benedict, Bernard Person, Ronnie Royal, Brian Helm, Gil Gawk all in for service. The pay window is open, DJ, and a lot of takers are up at the window.
Absolutely. Ronnie Royal is down and away. He had a really fast stop. Chad Long, Bill Benedict, a little bit of damage to the right rear of Mr. Benedict's car, but he had no complaints about it, said it's driving okay, and he's just trying to finish here tonight. So they fixed a little bit of it. 4 tires, he is down and away. Brian Helm, no changes to his car, and Bernard Person as well. Pretty much straightforward. Give me the drink, wash the window, and give me some fuel.
McCanny is in. Our leader is in. Donnie Staubitz electing to do the overcut, so Donnie will get a lap led here, which could come back to be important. I mean, a bonus point is a bonus point. So Donnie Staubitz will take over the lead. McCanny is on pit road, and we'll see what Richie Coy does. Richie Coy stays out. Brody Hanna, Richie Coy's coming in. Brody Hanna stays out. So there we go. And a little interesting strategy for these guys. McCanny, Hanna, and Coy kind of all work together along with Lang and Chris Beck. So those guys kind of all conglomerate resources there. But a couple of them electing to stay out, a couple of them electing to come in. You see, looks like McCanny is going to come out right behind Brody Hanna here.
Yeah, so you can see how the undercut works here just a little bit, and we're going to see McCanny get back in the throttle and try to make his way back up through the field. This was the lap that I said they all had to pit on if they wanted that chance at the undercut to make up the time. A couple drivers, like you said, electing to stay out and push it even further. Hey, they're driving the cars. They know what's going on. We're just calling the race. We don't know diddly squat up here in the booth other than that they can only go a certain amount of laps on fuel. So it's going to be interesting to see after all this files out where Randy McCanny is going to fall back into the race standings.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Right now, shown in third, 25 seconds on the clock behind Donnie Staubitz, and Brody Hanna sitting 17 seconds behind Staubitz right now. So McCanny comes out in a good position. He's 11 seconds ahead of Terry Cooper, kind of in no man's land if you look at our track map here, coming through the NASCAR oval here. And Donnie Staubitz is also in the NASCAR oval, except he's in turn number 4 right now. Let's see if Donnie Staubitz is going to start making his way to pit road here as he comes into NASCAR chicane.
Oh, we just had a big contact as they were heading out onto the backstretch to NASCAR's turn 3 and 4. It was between Richie Coy in the number, or excuse me, it was between Richie Coy in the number 19 and Kevin Rupert in the number 1, and it sent Kevin Rupert around, spun out backwards on the racetrack. It's going to cost him a lot of time. He was able to 360 it around and watch closely for traffic coming, and he was back on his way, but he's going to lose a lot of time.
So we go on board that replay as Donnie Staubitz does make his way in. So Kevin Rupert underneath, inside of Bobby Terrell going into turn number 5 here, which is the turn going back onto the oval. And it's actually Bobby Terrell that gets into the side of him. So a little contact between the 5 and the 1. And the 19 may have gotten the back of the 1 as well of Richie Coy. But Kevin Rupert, tough night. He was making his way to the front of this field and now loses a little bit of time there.
Yeah, pit stops starting to cycle through. Pretty much everybody has been in so far.
Yeah, everybody except...
Yeah, Donnie's coming out right now.
Brody Hanna has not pitted yet.
Brody, remember 2 weeks ago when we were calling the Daytona race and we were like, is Brody ever going to pit? And he finally did with like a lap and a half to go. How much fuel does Brody have in his car? Or we need to take it to the R&D center and see if he's got some extra fuel lines floating through those pipes.
And you see in the background there in this camera shot, McCanny is coming onto the NASCAR oval at the same time Brody Hanna is. So McCanny is there, but this could be huge for Brody Hanna on the long run here. If he can take less fuel, I mean, that car will be faster overall, but you know, how much time is he giving up right now, DJ? It has to be a lot.
Yeah, he has given up a lot. He's given up about 4 seconds a lap on those old tires. He's playing the overcut here to see if he's going to have enough time to get back up to the front with those new tires when he does decide to pit. But is he leaving himself enough time? I don't think so. We're coming up on lap 22. The race is only 35 laps long.
So Brody Hanna last time by. This is not accurate because McCanny does have a pit stop in there, but a 2-minute 24-second lap for McCanny. And then Hanna was a 1:58, which is not a bad time, honestly, for as long as we've been out there on tires. So Hanna coming through, and Brody Hanna is in the pits, got a little loose off the turn. So our very last driver to pit tonight is Brody Hanna. He will be in. Randy McCanny will re-inherit the lead as you see him go by on the outside there. And you'll see that, yeah, McCanny was a 1:56 that last time. Hanna was a 1:58. So you can see how much difference those new tires make.
Absolutely. So as you alluded to, Brody Hanna, the last driver on pit road. No changes to the car. Tear off and fuel and 4 Goodyear tires, and he is down and away. Try not to speed on pit road. It's better to have a slower entry than that 40-second hold, and that's going to put Randy McCanny back into the lead. But it looks like with that undercut that Donnie Staubitz, Terry Cooper, Bobby Terrell, all these drivers gained a decent amount on Randy McCanny. Cooper is now only 10 seconds back, and he was more than 20 seconds back before he took the pit stop.
Yeah, Cooper had one of the best pit lane times, but McCanny and Staubitz had about the same, but Staubitz staying out longer, got some clean air, and was able to make up some time there. But it's around 8 seconds right now. Looks like Brody Hanna actually is going to pick up some time as well. He's going to come out in 8th place, so the overcut, if you will, kind of working out for the 23 machine. He was running back in 10th place. Now, granted, there has been some drivers that have been penalized. Some incidents have happened. But right now, looking pretty good. Giving a quick rundown, McCanny the leader, Staub at second, Cooper third, Daniels fourth, Coy fifth, Terrell sixth, Gary Griffith seventh, Brody Hanna in eighth, Andrew Palicki up to ninth, and Troy Torgerson will round out your top 10, DJ.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if Brody can come out from doing the overcut to being in eighth place, that's pretty much amazing. Like you said, there were some penalties, some drivers that sped on pit road, and Brody himself is not slow at all. So let's see where this ends up. I don't think he can get McCanny, but he might be able to work his way up into the top 5 for sure.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. 13 laps to go here at the Daytona 200K here. Race is actually going pretty fast here tonight, but right now Randy McCanny, the race leader, right behind him is actually Lane Allen trying to fight to get his lap back. He's in 32nd place, so 31 drivers on the lead lap right now. Ralph Nolan Jr. just ahead of him. He's going to be the next driver to go a lap down. And Rachel Hunt has had an off-road excursion, but she is going and looking fine now on the track. DJ, looking back at some of these guys that gained a lot of positions earlier, Brian Helm up to 19th place, up 19. Casey McMullen up in 22nd, up 19 spots. So those guys still doing a good job out there tonight.
Yeah, and some drivers that have fallen back through the field after starting up front. Jeff Chandler started 4th, currently in the 24th spot. And Kenneth Schultz started 11th, currently in the 27th spot. But probably the biggest, I don't want to say the biggest loser, but the biggest negative so far here tonight as far as where you started versus where you're running right now, Lane Allen started 2nd, is now in 32nd. So tough break for the number 14 of Lane Allen after getting stuck in the tire barrier earlier tonight. So tough break for him. But like you said, this race is going by very quick. And Brandon Elder, we talked about him earlier, last week's winner, said he wasn't even going to make the field tonight. Currently running 12th, decent lap times. Yeah,
he's actually doing really good. Let's look at those last lap times here. We'll bring those up, and you'll see the Brandon Elder, not on that screen right now as it rotates through, but let's see what we got here. Brandon Elder is 1:57.6, so right now that puts him about the 6th fastest time on the track right now, so doing a pretty good job there in the 12 machine. He is working on catching Matt Geringer. That's a battle for 11th. Right now, about a 4-second gap between those two drivers.
Yeah, and some wreck happened just in front of Brody Hanna as he was coming out of the bus stop chicane. It looks like the number 5 of Bobby Terrell got around in front of him, and that was some A-plus driving skill wreck avoidance by the 23 of Brody Hanna. I was just looking at him to see how far he's made it up, who he's battling with, and he almost saw the light. I'm telling you what, that was close.
Yeah, Bobby Terrell, that replay doesn't show a whole lot there. Let's see if we can look. He might have gotten some help going around, DJ. And let's see if we can get a better view here of the accident.
Yep, he did get hit.
Looking out the back of that number 5 machine, there's Brody Hanna going into the bus stop. Terrell holding down the apex there, and might have got a little bit of a touch there from the 23 into the fencing. And Bobby Terrell going to lose a lot of time there, dropping outside the top 10 to 11th spot.
Well, that will teach me from not looking at the whole replay.
Oh, and he gets hit again.
Oh, no. Terrell's hit again.
Brandon Elder gets into him in the International Horseshoe, so Terrell has gotten some bad, I don't know what to say, but not good right now for Bobby Terrell, as I got a little nudge again from the 51. Dean Doucette coming through now. Tough break for the 5.
Okay, so Bobby Terrell, take a breath, man. I mean, he's just getting ping-ponged here tonight. Bobby Terrell now back under power, and no cars around him, so he's going to be okay. But I got to say, I went back and I looked at only half of the replay, and it looked like that Bobby Terrell just lost it by himself. But then you see the little bit of contact there with Brody Hanna, and I'm complimenting Brody, A-plus driver. He's missing the wrecks and everything. He's the one that turned him. Oh, Brody. We love Brody. He didn't mean to do that on purpose, but I do feel bad for the number 5, Bobby Terrell. He's been hit by just about everything here tonight.
Yeah, in the last, 6 corners, he's gotten turned twice there. It's a tough break. It has paid off for Brody Hanna. He's now up to 6th spot. And Brandon Elder knocking on the door of a top 10 here tonight. But tough break for Bobby Terrell. We see Ralph Nolan's in the pits again. So
yeah, Ralph, his motor's blown up, so he's got a bunch of black smoke coming from that motor, and he's gonna try to fix up what he can. I believe they got the smoke cut off, and so he's gonna get some damage repaired and try to get back out there. But a tough day for the number 35, or excuse me, the number 95, currently in the 35th position.
tough break for Ralph Nolan. These guys, a lot of play because next week at Miami, at Homestead Miami Speedway, that's the last week that we rely on the 2020 point standings. Then, starting at Homestead and moving, or starting from Homestead, the race 4 and on, we rely on this year's points. So a lot of these drivers, even though it's a road course and they might not be good at it, every point counts, and you got to make it inside the top 20 because you don't want to be a driver that has to qualify your way in, especially when we're going to the next road course isn't until May, so a lot of ovals coming up, especially potential run at Bristol Dirt, which would be a difficult prospect for these guys.
Absolutely. Keeping our eye again on Brody Hanna. He has now worked his way up into the 6th spot, setting his sights on that number 19 of Richie Coy for the 5th. I believe he's going to be able to get it. He's about 5 seconds back as we now are coming to about 10 laps to go here in this 35-lap race. Another key point to zoom in on here is the leader, Randy McCanny. When he pitted, remember how Donnie Staubitz had stopped that gap from growing at about 9.5 seconds? It's now stayed pretty much the same at 7.1. So undercutting Randy by a little bit has allowed Donnie to gain about 2 seconds. And we're going to see if he's going to be able to shrink that even more. He is now 7.126 seconds back, and he has shrunk that even more down to 6.5 seconds. So he's gaining about a second a lap. And with that, he will be at Randy's back door with about 2 laps to go if he keeps this pace up.
Yeah, the big thing right now, Randy McCanny actually working through some heavy traffic, passing Wayne Grossi, Tony Soler. So that probably did not help his lap times a lot. So he passed 3 drivers, Brian Bliss also in that group as well. So even though these guys in the lap traffic, they're letting him by and there's not a lot of racing going on there, it's all about where you catch them. If you catch them in a bad spot, you can't pass them if there's not a passing zone there. And Randy was lost a little bit of time trying to make his way through traffic there.
Yeah, all these drivers, that they know that they're a little bit slow here tonight. They'll do everything they can to get out of the way of the leader. Just sometimes there's nowhere to go. So we're going to see as McKinney makes his way back into NASCAR turns 3 and 4, if he's going to be able to get that lap time up just a little bit better. Last lap working a 1 minute 58 second point 108 second lap time. So we're going to see what Randy can do when he comes back around again. But right now it's looking like Donnie Staubitz is closing in.
And looking at that gap, DJ, it is 7.38 live. So Randy was able to pick up some time. Staubitz had to work his way around Wayne Grossi coming onto the NASCAR Oval. That did cost him a little bit of time. But DJ, I mean, this race, we didn't have any 2-stop takers, man. So it's been some short pits, some splits, and some long pits right now. But, looking at these drivers, what do you think Donnie Staubitz is going to have to do to catch Randy McCanny?
Well, really, I think it comes down to not making any mistakes, because the one driver to make the mistake is going to be the driver that's going to pay for that. As we see McCanny come back around to the start-finish line, he just turned a 1:57.106, an extremely fast time, and he puts another second on Donnie Staubitz. So that lap traffic played a big role in this, but I don't think there's anything that Donnie can do to make up this time unless Randy makes a mistake. That driver and that setup under that car is just too good here tonight.
Yeah, good job by Donnie Staubitz. Terry Cooper, Jared Daniels, shout out to him. Jared is a rookie in this series. I'm not familiar if he's a road course guy or not, but right now he is. That's our battle on the track right now. Jared Daniels, Richie Coy battling for 4th place. Coy has caught him from a little bit back. We look at the time delta, DJ. That gap was 5.5 seconds on lap 21. It's down to 0.8 of a second now.
Yeah, Richie Coy looking pretty good. The fastest car behind them, though, is the number 23 of Brody Hanna, trying to scoot in on them. And, if they get to racing, Brody's going to love that and going to be able to get up there and mingle with them for that top 5 starting position. It looks like Coy is a little bit better in the right-handers and through the infield. We'll see what they look like when they get onto the track here for NASCAR turns 3 and 4. and see if that draft is going to play a huge factor to let Coy get up on the back of Daniels. But the battle rages on here with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, let's look at those sector times, DJ, and you look at sector 1. That is from the start-finish line to the end of the first horseshoe. Coy was about a 10th quicker there. And then sector 2, it looks like Daniels was still, or Coy was still about a 10th quicker. Or sorry, Daniels was a 10th quicker there. But Richie Coy was actually quicker in sector 3, 3/10 quicker than Jared Daniels. You can really see how much he's working, and he is right there now coming into NASCAR Turn 4.
Yeah, he had a really, really good bus stop. It looks like that Daniels is going to take the defensive line in here, and Coy is going to outbrake Daniels. Daniels is going to try the crossover move to the outside, and he does it. What a power move by Jared Daniels. That should be nominated for move of the race right there. That was beautifully executed. Phenomenal job by the 21.
That was textbook defend your position. You saw the guy, you had the line on him through the majority of the corner, and you knew he was going to have to outbrake you to get through there, and Jared Daniels said, hey, you want to take the spot, you're going to have to outbrake me for it. He forced Richie into that spot, and Richie locked it up. What a great move by Jared Daniels there. Richie Coy, he's going to fight back, though. I mean, we know Richie Coy is a short track driver, but the problem is, DJ, looking at that car moving around a lot, locking up that tire, it's going to cause the wear to go way, way up on that machine, and makes that car harder to handle. I hope he didn't use his stuff up, but it might have happened for him.
Yeah, it could have. It put a lot of heat in that tire. I mean, normal NASCAR racing in real life, you would say that he probably flat spotted that. They don't have that yet here in iRacing, but they do have something even worse. They have heat, and you put heat in those tires, and it absolutely increases the wear ratio as he's now working his way past the number 7 car with no hood. Might I add you that on that number 7 car of Wayne Grassy, there's a couple people out here tonight that are running what looks to be modifieds. So, but yeah, I see Richie coming back up there. He's not done with Daniels just yet. He's going to have another go at him.
Yeah, but Brody Hanna also gaining on this group quickly, and with 8 laps to go, I'm sure Brody Hanna is going to get up there. In the meantime, McCanny has opened his lead back up to 8 seconds over Donnie Staubitz. Actually, as we speak, Daniels makes a mistake coming out of the bus stop, and Richie Coy is going to try again on this lap inside in turn number 4. And Daniels lets him go.
Yep, he's going to let him go and get back in behind him here. And it looks like that this time Daniels is going in a whole lot easier. Doesn't have to threshold brake this time, and he's going to get through it nice and clean. So give that spot to Richie Coy. He moves up into the 4th spot. That's going to put Daniels back into the 5th spot.
And Brody Hanna now next on the list for Jared Daniels to defend against, because Brody's coming. I mean, he has been the fastest driver. My guess is he probably, we don't know for sure, took less fuel in that machine, but he's running 157s. He's actually the fastest driver on the track right now by about 0.05 of a second over Donnie Staubitz, and then McCanny would be 3rd quickest right now on the track that time by. So Hanna's coming. I don't know if he's going to be able to get Richie Coy, but I think he's going to get to Jared Daniels here in just a minute.
Yeah, he tried the overcut. We were talking a lot about drivers undercutting here tonight. Hanna was one of the few that elected to do the overcut, and he has made it pay off so far. Questioned it just a little bit there tonight, but hey, man, I'm cool when people prove me wrong. Just show me the facts, baby. Show me the facts, and that's what Hanna is doing right now, and he is making his way up there. He is going to possibly challenge the 21 of Jared Daniels within the next lap.
And DJ, as you were talking there, tough break for Kevin Rupert. He had contact with the 5, spun around earlier in the race, and he jumped the NASCAR curbings, and that car looked like it either stalled out or had engine damage. He barely got it moving, and he's on pit road now. So the one driver, that race has gone from a top 10 finish, likely top 10 finish, to in the pits here with 7 laps to go.
Yeah, we can also confirm that Ralph Nolan Jr. has taken his car behind the wall. Remember, he had that engine damage with that smoke pouring out of it on pit road. They tried to get it fixed, but they weren't able to do so. So he is now being shown as a DNF for this race. And we're still watching Coy, Daniels, and Hanna as they head for the NASCAR chicane.
And that's the battle right now on the track for position, the back half of the top 5 here. Cooper's by himself. He's 7 seconds ahead of this battle, 10 seconds behind Staubitz, who is about 8.5 seconds behind McCanny. and Richie Coy now leading this group here. But Jared Daniels, Brody Hanna is there looking on the inside going into turn 1, and he thinks better of it.
Yeah, Hannah knows he's got him. And, they both lock up the tires. Heavy lockup for both of them, but it hurts the 21 even worse. And Hannah got loose out of that corner. It's going to allow the 21 to get back up on his bumper. So we're just going to forget that corner even happened for both of these drivers, and we're going to continue on. But that move right there moves Brody Hanna up into the 5th position.
Yeah, and when that happens as a driver, I mean, what's going through your head? So you see the guy in front of you make a mistake. Is that kind of like that follow the leader type thing? You're like, oh, he made a mistake, and then your brain just kind of shuts off, and you do the exact same thing. And then how do you rebound from that as a driver to try to get yourself collected and get going again?
Well, honestly, if anybody says they haven't followed someone into the outside wall, or we're drafting somebody and moved down with them and cut the other driver out to the inside and wreck the whole field, you're not racing. Because absolutely, you see someone hit the wall, you follow them into the wall. You see them lock up the tires, you lock up the tires. It's just the nature of racing. It happens all the time. And to rebound from it, you just really, it's pretty cliche. Put it out of your mind and move forward. And I believe that is what Brody and Daniels have both done as they move past a slow lap car down the back straightaway. Brody Hanna setting his sights on Richie Coy for 4th.
That was Brian Bliss. We got Dean Doucette on pit road. Looks like he may have had an incident. Let's take a look at the replay here. Going into the bus stop, Dean Doucette looking good so far. Goes through the bus stop and just loops it on the outs. Oh, hard in the wall. Massive impact on the 29. Steven Vrooman almost hits him. And the 29, it's just been a really difficult night for Dean Doucette in that machine. And he's going to be on pit road. He is dropping to 28th position, the 2-time champion on pit road.
Tough break for Doucette. Also, we were talking about that. The number 41 car of Chad Lang had trouble out of the NASCAR inner loop there. He was able to keep it off the wall a little bit, but he did do a 360. He is now down on pit road. Probably going to get some new tires on that number 41. So tough break. He was running in the 27th spot. He is now going to fall farther down from that.
It looks like he's going to come out in 31st, maybe 32nd back there with Jason Spear. Yep, they're going to be side by side, Lang and Spear for a battle for 32nd. Haven't talked a lot about Jason Spear, but I have to give it to a guy that's out there persevering and running all the laps. He knows how important these points are going to be this season, and he's still out there. He hasn't had any incidents. I mean, only one off track in this entire race. So doing a really good job. Just, he'll admit it. The road courses aren't his thing, but half the battle of road course is just keeping the thing on the track. And Jason Spear doing a good job in 31st, up 9 spots from 40th starting position.
Yeah, Jason Spear just surviving out there. That's all you got to do. Want to say something about Rachel Hunt, too. Currently running in the 32nd position. You might think, Rachel Hunt, is she not that good of a racer? I tell you what, she might not be showing it here tonight, but you put her up against anybody in a B car in an official series on the open setup or even the fixed setup, even the A car, Rachel Hunt, she will walk all over 90% of the drivers on iRacing. Just having a little difficulty here tonight in the open setup road course, but watch out for her. Anywhere you go, she is always running in the top 5, and I assume we're going to see her running closer to the front next week at Homestead.
Yeah, she won 3 races in a row on the cut to end 2020B and then start 2020C. Kentucky, Michigan, and Dover in a row. So Rachel Hunt knows how to get done in the A car. This is her first appearance in FTSR on a road course and surviving 30th place right now. And I'm sure we'll see her toward the top 5 next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Checking in on Terry Cooper. Haven't talked a lot about Terry tonight. I mean, he's kind of been by himself all race. He's 9 seconds ahead of Richie Coy, 13 seconds behind Donnie Staubitz, his teammate. And he's in some heavy traffic. Lane Allen, Tony Soler, Gil Gach, all there. Those guys battling for, some of them battling for position there. And Terry Cooper having a good run. One of the top road course racers in this series here running in 3rd spot, DJ. And you look through the rest of this field. I got to give a shout out as well to Andrew Palicki and Troy Torgerson. Those guys doing a whale of a job hanging on the top 10.
That's right. If you remember correctly from 2 weeks ago, what did I tell you my favorite team was to call on the series? That would be Rachel's team, right? Raging Moose Motorsports. Did I get that right?
That's right.
Yeah, favorite team just because that's awesome. I could think of a logo idea for that, with just like with a moose with like flames and like a gear shifter or something with a flag. Oh man, I love it. Raging Moose Motorsports, freaking awesome.
DJ, I think their logo is that, if not very close to that already. So
that's awesome.
They have it on Facebook at Raging Moose Racing on Facebook, and I'm pretty sure that is their main logo. So Andrew Palicki holding the flag for them in 8th spot. Troy Torgerson, GT Performance. Those guys, 3 drivers in the top 10 right now. Daniels, Griffith, and Troy Torgerson. Bill Benedict, their other driver, is in 16th right now. It's a solid run. Unspectacular, but you know, sometimes you just need a good, solid top 20 run at road course. But right now, we're 3 to go, DJ, and it's been the Randy McCaney show. 9-second lead right now for the 6 machine.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. You see the sun starting to go down just a little bit. The shadows, like I said earlier, getting even longer now. And we will see what it's going to look like at the end of the race. But I can honestly tell you that with the way that the sun is right now shining onto the track, that number 6 of Randy McCaney, if it didn't look beautiful before, it definitely looks beautiful now with the hint of sunshine coming off of Daytona Beach onto that number 6. 2.5 laps now to go. It is and has been the Randy McCaney show. It is his race to lose, currently almost 9 seconds ahead of Donnie Staubitz. Really the only battle on the track right now, it looks like, is between Gary Griffith and Andrew Palicki for the 7th spot.
And DJ, I want to go on board Donnie Staubitz, because coming out turn 5 right here, watch the sunlight. That hits you right in the face right about now. It's not too bad. I take that back. When we were on the 24-hour race, when that sunset, that is such a bad spot. Also going to that NASCAR chicane, so it's not as bad as I've seen it, but it is starting to get to that point where the sun is starting to get a little bit annoying in those parts of the track. But DJ, you're exactly right. Palicki and Griffith, that's the battle. Torgerson in there as well. That's a battle for 7th place.
Yeah, good battle between these drivers, and you mentioned the sun. It will be a factor a little bit. I know that there are people out there that do have some eye issues, and even just a little bit of brightness after you've been watching the dark for so long is going to affect you onto this track. Is where you're keeping an eye on Palicki here. He is battling close with Gary Griffith in the 7th spot, as it looks like we are about ready to take 2 to go.
Brandon Elder had an off-road excursion in the horseshoe, but he has got it going here, and Randy McCaney coming across the line. 2 to go here at the Daytona 200K. Nearly done here in this race. Going to be making quick time here tonight at the Daytona Road Course. But right now, DJ, we got a 4-car battle for 7th place, as Matt Gehringer has put his number 11 machine on the tail end of this group. So we have Gary Griffith in 7th, Palicki, Torgerson, and Gehringer. The battle for the back half of the top 10 still not settled just yet.
Yeah, and you can see all these drivers running different lines as they head down into the NASCAR chicane. And it looks like Gehringer is going to gain a lot of time on these drivers as they get now. These drivers are getting 2 laps to go, but he wasn't able to get in the throttle as much out of the NASCAR chicane. Going to lose some time there. It looks like it's going to be between Palicki and Griffith for that 7th spot, unless one of these other drivers make a mistake.
So that's the battle on the track right now. And then we also have Brody Hanna trying to hold off Jared Daniels. Those guys been nose to tail since Brody Hanna was able to get around him into turn 1 earlier. But that's the only other battle on the track. So we'll keep an eye on the battle for 5th and the battle for 7th right now. Behind 10th place, Bobby Terrell. Quite a distance. Bobby Terrell 5 seconds ahead of Brandon Elder. 14 seconds behind Matt Gehringer, kind of settled into his role there. Dale Nearad is way behind Steven Vrooman, who is way in front of Bernard Persson. So not a lot of battles on the track right now inside the top 20. So we'll focus on the 7th place battle right now and check in on the 5th place battle as we go on, DJ.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, everybody pretty much spread out except for these 2 little packs of cars right here. And the battle still between Griffith, Palicki, Torgerson, Gehringer, and Terrell. Brandon Elder has fallen back after you said he had that little off-track excursion. But here comes Randy McCaney. He is now coming down to get the white flag. 1 more lap to go here at Daytona International Speedway, the NASCAR Road Course. It has been the Randy McCaney show, and he has now seen the white flag.
Randy McCaney doing such a great job, looking on board, just smooth. I mean, at this point in time, you just take it as easy as you possibly can. Roy Collins off track. He gets the 62 machine going. But right now, if you're Randy McKenny, you're just like, hey, let's hit the marks. Just get the car going around the track. I mean, he could do a 2-minute lap, and Donnie Staubitz is not going to catch him here. So McKenny doing a great job here. And we'll focus back in on that battle for 5th place real quick here between Brody Hanna and Jared Daniels. Jared Daniels still hounding him, so there's still a little bit to play for there. Richie Coy's actually lost a little bit of time, and Hanna's gaining him. So Hanna might be able to catch Richie Coy for 4th.
Yeah, it looks that way. Hanna now driving in deep into that first turn for the carousel into the infield of Daytona, past the giant Ferris wheel. Brody Hanna doing everything he can, but just the drive off the corner for the number 19 of Richie Coy is too much. And so far, we are staying 4th and 5th, as it looks like now that Randy McKenny has slowed down just a little bit. Donnie Staubitz is able to close in, but McKenny being extra careful as he makes his way down the backstretch. The final time, he's going to work his way through the bus stop, being sure not to get any off tracks. Don't spin out, don't get sideways. You've got a lot of time, and he's making his way towards the checkered flag.
As that was going on, DJ, Brody Hanna got a little loose outside the International Horseshoe. Jared Daniels able to get around him. So the battle for 5th, Jared Daniels might have cast the final battle cry in that one. As we take a look at our race leader, Randy McKenny. He's coming down into the NASCAR chicane for the final time tonight. The Randy McKenny show has been understatement tonight. Gets off the throttle, and Randy McKenny is going to win here at the Daytona Road Course for the Daytona 2RK to take his 2nd career FTSR Cup Series victory. Donnie Staubitz will finish 2nd place, 6 seconds or so behind, and Terry Cooper looking to come home in 3rd spot, looking back at these battles. So there comes Terry Cooper out of NASCAR chicane. He's going to get 3rd, and we look back at some of these battles, DJ. 4th place, Richie Coy's there. Brady Hanna catching back up to Jared Daniels. Can't quite get there. And Hanna still holding on to it, hits the wall, and he'll come home 6th place.
Yeah, get a little tire spin there for Brody Hanna, so a tough break for him. He lost that top 5,
but
he's going to be able to finish in 6th, and we got some more contact in the back.
Palicki has spun out on the last lap in the NASCAR chicane. That's going to allow Torgerson and Matt Geringer to get around. So Palicki, trying to go for 7th, is going to end up in 10th. Still a solid top 10 for him, but DJ saw it on the top of the screen there. That he went around, and tough break for Andrew Palicki, but he will come home 10th place.
Yeah, 11th is going to go to Bobby Terrell. After being beat up all night, Bobby Terrell is going to make it in 11th spot, and Brandon Elder, last week's winner, a solid finish in 12th after he said he probably wouldn't even make the field. Brandon Elder made it tonight. Behind him, my new favorite man here, Stephen Vrooman, going to come home in the 13th spot. Behind him, Dale Neergrad and Bernard Person, last year's champion, moved up 11 spots from 26th to 15th.
So Brian Helm right behind him. He comes across the line. Jeff Chandler nearly got there at the line. He'll get 17th. Bill Benetick 18th. And then we check in on Casey Mullen coming through NASCAR chicane. He is in 19th. Ronnie Royal has kind of recovered, getting a top 20 here, just ahead of Rory Collins in the 62. Didn't get a chance to talk about Rory too much tonight, but a solid run for him. Ken Schultz, 22nd. He'll finish there, and that is pretty much going to do it. Jeff Bratton, 23rd right now, going through the NASCAR chicane. And I believe that is the last of our lead lap drivers, if I'm not mistaken here. No, Jeff Bratton is a lap down, so he's already finished.
Correct. So Jeff is lap down. More lap down drivers behind him. Jeff Winter, Lane Allen, after having that incident in the tire barrier, started 2nd, going to finish 25th here tonight, so tough break for him. Tony Soler in the number 74 is going to finish 26th. 27th is going to go to Gil Gach. 28th is going to go to Brian Bliss. And 29th, Kevin Rupert, after having a couple of incidents here tonight, and rounding out the top 30. Moving up 10 spots, but not the run that he'd want, but still solid. Jason Spear in the number 83 in the 30th spot.
Jason Spear will get the 30th spot, and you look through the rest of the results here as we take a look at Randy McKenny spinning out and doing his donuts there. DJ, tough break for Dean Doucette. He's going to finish 37th here tonight, just behind Steve Loomis in 36th. Wayne Grossi, last year's runner-up, 34th. Rachel Hunt, 32nd. Chad Lang, 31st. John Held, 33, making his debut of the season. Ralph Nolan, rookie of the season 2 seasons ago, 38th. Tracy Powers will finish 39th. He did not finish the race tonight, nor did David Hensley in 40th. DJ, My goodness, what a race it was! But it was the Randy McCann show all night, and he led all but 2 laps here tonight.
Yeah, it was exciting for two reasons. One, it was exciting to just see the master at work, Randy McCann, on the road course, and it was exciting to see some of the racing that was happening mid pack and up front. And we saw a couple of different pit strategies going on. Didn't think Brody's pit strategy was going to work, but it did. He went from 17th to 6th, and a couple of other drivers that made big moves tonight as well. Brian Helm, 38th to 16th. Casey McMullen, probably the biggest mover tonight, 41st to 19th. So all around, a good race here tonight, and we're going to catch up with some interviews here in just a moment, Jared.
Yep, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back to hear from our top 3 finishers. All right, we are back live here at Daytona International Speedway, where Randy McCann picks up the Daytona 200K victory, and we're going to hear from two of our top 3 finishers, and our 4th place Richie Coy. Donnie Staubitz not available right now, so we're going to get right into the interviews. And I'm down here on pit road with our 4th place finisher Richie Coy. Richie, congratulations on a great top 5 run here tonight.
Thanks, man. It was harrowing. I thought the trucks were rough. This was a long race. It was a brutal race. I am drenched in sweat. I'm gonna have to go take a shower after this one.
Yeah, so Richie, I mean, you were battling, started back in 8th place. So you had to come through the field just a little bit. Talk us through the beginning of that race, because, I mean, we had 45 drivers show up to attempt to make the race tonight, and only 40 make it. And you were one of those drivers that was on the outside of the top 20 in points last season.
Yeah, and after last week of missing the Daytona the big track race, I was all kinds of nervous, and then I had my teammates in chat talking about how nervous they were, which were making me even nervous, and it was crazy. But we qualified, which was awesome. Qualified up towards the front. We made it through turn 1. That was check goal number 1. Then we made it through lap 1, which was goal number 2, and then it was on from there.
And Richie, we watched you battling, and you were battling with your old modified competitor, Donnie Staubitz there for a little bit of the race. It looked like you just couldn't quite get to him there at the beginning. Did you lose time trying to battle with him and Terry Cooper, or did you think you had anything for Randy McCanny here in this race?
Well, I mean, we took off. I was just trying to ride, trying to take whatever the race gave me, and it looked like I was catching them a little bit. And then I think I missed one or two corners, and then they started to pull me a little bit, and then I was just riding. I was just trying to make laps, trying not to make a mistake, try to not have any issues on the racetrack. But Randy was gone.
So Richie, I mean, a great run. You get back in that the points here with a great top 5 finish, finishing 4th here tonight. Congratulations again. We're going to head to Miami, Homestead Miami Speedway next week. Are you looking forward to getting to an just a traditional oval after running the Super Speedway and then a road course?
Absolutely. I'm cutting my teeth on small tracks and oval tracks, so the road racing really isn't my forte. I do good enough to basically, I guess, run top 5, which is nice. But yeah, I can't wait to get back to some ovals.
All right, Richie. Well, congratulations on finishing 4th tonight. I'm going to throw it over to you and let you have the last word here.
Well, thanks again to you guys for doing the broadcast again. You guys do a fantastic job. I'm glad I wasn't actually on it this week. I was actually racing this week, but I had fun last week, which was awesome. Glad I could help out with that. And thanks to my setup guy for giving us a good setup under the car so that we can get off our top 4 here. Thanks again.
All right, DJ, that was our 4th place finisher, Richie Coy, and I believe you're down on pit road with our 3rd place finisher, Terry Cooper Jr.
Yeah, sitting down here with Terry Cooper Jr. Terry, you brought the number 25 car home tonight in the 3rd spot. That's going to put you currently 5th overall in the point standings for Steve Barry Racing. How did you do it tonight, and what do you got to say about that? Excellent finish.
Oh, it was a struggle. The car was a handful tonight. I practiced all weekend long, and for some reason the car was different tonight. I did some setup changes, and I think I went the wrong direction, but we were able to get a good finish out of it.
Absolutely. Started 3rd, finished 3rd. Talked a lot during the broadcast about some of these drivers and how long they have been doing it. Why don't you give us a little rundown about how you started in sim racing and what brought you up through?
Oh man, I started sim racing back in the dirt track racing days.
DTR,
And,
I like it.
Yeah, DTR2, the Rat Bag games, and then NASCAR race in 2003, and I got on iRacing in 2014, something like that.
Awesome. So pretty much the bane of experience here, Terry Cooper Jr. knows how to get it done. Terry, any shout outs here tonight? Who helped you get this 3rd place finish?
I got to give credit to Blackwater guys, Steve Barry Racing. Without those guys, the car wouldn't have been where it was. And I give you guys, credit for what y'all do in the booth. Y'all do a great job every week.
Well, we definitely appreciate that, Terry, and congratulations again on your 3rd place finish, currently putting him 5th place in the points. We're going to kick it over to Jared Carr, who has caught up with tonight's winner, Randy McCanny.
Yeah, I'm down here in victory lane with Randy McCanny, who basically had a flag-to-flag victory here, leading all but 2 laps. Congratulations, Randy, grabbing your 2nd career FTSR Cup Series victory.
Thanks a lot, guys. That was a hard-earned one. I'm definitely sweating after that.
So you started off, you had the pole position here. Lane Allen started alongside you, and you're battling. And you basically had a 1-lap battle, and then you took off, and you were never seen again. I'm sure your race was more eventful than that, right?
Oh, every lap was eventful. That first lap, I wanted to race Lane. I just didn't want to give up the lead. That clean air, you can hit your braking points. So I raced him hard in turn 1 through the little chicane there, but just to get that clean air.
Well, we saw you. I mean, you're basically 9 or 10 seconds ahead of 2nd place all night. Then Donnie Staubitz starts to make some inroads on you. Did you have any concerns that Donnie might be able to catch you there?
Oh, absolutely. Towards the end of the run, my rear tires were just gone, and coming off the corners, it just barely could touch the throttle. And I kept watching his time, and he's getting closer and closer. So the last probably 5 laps, that was just pretty much time management, just I knew I had enough lead that as long as I didn't make a mistake, I should be okay.
So Randy, I mean, it's a twofold thing here. I mean, you get the victory that puts you potentially locked into the chase going into the playoffs, not the chase, the playoffs. So that has to take a lot of load off. And now next week we're going into Homestead Miami, the first, if you will, traditional oval. Are you looking forward to the rest of the season? You got the weight off your shoulders, man. You're in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge weight off the shoulders, especially with the talent in this league. I don't know if one race is going to lock you into it or not, but I mean, every week, once we get to ovals, especially every week, there's 20 guys that could win.
Well, Randy, congratulations on a dominating performance here tonight. I'm going to turn the floor over to you and let you have the last word here tonight on the broadcast.
Well, first of all, I got to thank you, Jared, and the whole team for the setup. The setup was just a rocket ship. I couldn't make a setup anywhere close to that. Got to thank Fury Motorsports. Those guys were a huge help. Chris and Chad, everybody in the practice. When we practiced together, we came up with a good setup that was good on tires and good in the warmer track. So everybody on the team, that was as much their win as it was mine.
Well, DJ, that was our winner tonight. Randy McKinney becomes the second driver this season to potentially lock themselves into a playoff berth. What a race it was for Randy McKinney. Brandon Elder is going to retain the point lead by 1 point over rookie Jared Daniels.
Yeah, from not knowing if he was going to make the field tonight to continuing to lead the championship standings. That is going to be really good, especially come week number 4 when the lock-ins go by this year's point standings. I tell you what, Jared, had a lot of fun here tonight watching these guys get around this track. It's always good to be able to see some road racing, and we're going to have a lot more road racing this year than we have ever had. So we'll see next time we go to a road race. We'll see if these guys can keep up. Can they get faster? Can they get better? And will they ever have a chance to beat Randy McKinney, who now I know is on a team with you? So I think we're going to have to start a little battle here where I'm going to have to start a team, and we're going to have to battle it out in the booth and on the track.
There you go. And DJ, to go along with that, you look at outside the top 20. Now, next week is the last week for 2020C points to take into effect. We look unofficially at the guys outside the top 20, some big names out there. Unofficially, we have Dean Doucette, two-time champion out there. Sherwood Williford, who finished in the top 5 in points in the last 3 seasons. He's back there. David Hensley is back there outside the top 20, which means these guys would all have to qualify on time. And that is a tough prospect, especially when we see just the thin margins that this series has. Tracy Powers all the way back in 41st in points. Wayne Grossi, last year's runner-up, in 37th place in points. DJ, they have a lot to dig out from. And next week, they're going to have a good race.
Oh, absolutely. And a couple of these drivers wouldn't have been in the position they're in, but they had an issue. They spun out, they self-spun, they hit the wall, they hit the tire barrier. That costs them. That one little mistake we talked about at the beginning of the race puts them out of the top 20 for next week's Homestead race. But either way, it's going to be a great show a week from today, next Monday.
Exactly right, DJ. Well, that's going to do it here for us tonight. We still have more coming up on Full Throttle TV this week. Check us out on Wednesday, the Blackwater Products Truck Series from Full Throttle Sim Racing. Those guys going to be live from Homestead Miami Speedway. Brad Patterson, Dean Doucette in the booth. You don't want to miss that. Thursday night, myself and Dean Doucette covering the Elite Sim Racing Association IndyCar Series. They're going to be at the Belle Isle Circuit at Detroit. That's going to be an awesome street course race for the IndyCar Series. Chris Wilhite trying to maintain his point lead there. And then on Sunday night, the ESRA Clash Series is going to be in action at Auto Club Speedway. Had a great race last night, I should say. Mario Mirinda finishing second after a long day in the Indy 500. And check out all those stars in the Clash Series. Dean Doucette, Brad Patterson in the booth. And then myself and DJ Lyon will be back in the booth next Monday night, live from Homestead Miami Speedway to start round number 3 of the Darkmatter Designs Cup Series. But until then, for DJ Lyon, I'm Jared Carr. We will see you guys out on the track.